Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another forecast. And this is going to be a very significant, actually very important tropical update on very soon to be Hurricane Eta. It's at 65 miles an hour, and the National Hurricane Center finally predicts it getting to a hurricane right after it passes the Keys. But we do have some significant changes in the cone and also with the strength. Now we have a big southwestern shift. So a lot of the models are actually showing it only hitting the Keys, or if not even hitting the Keys at all. So there's a chance that this could still miss southern Florida and not hit southern Florida until it actually makes landfall for Tampa Bay. So there's a chance this won't make a Florida landfall until Tampa Bay. So southern Florida, you guys still have a chance to not get direct landfall, but the worst of the impacts will still be felt for portions of the Keys. They were probably 75-mile-an-hour wind sustains with gusts up to probably even 80 miles an hour. But this thing just passed Cuba, and it is about to head for areas of Florida, getting really heavy rain for the next few days and extreme winds there. Going to be looking at the really big alerts like hurricane warnings have been issued now for the Keys. Hurricane watches for areas in southeastern Florida, and tropical storm warnings stretch all the way up into the Port St. Lucie area, and even tropical storm watches all the way up to Tampa Bay. So a lot of the coast of Florida is under some type of alert, especially the eastern coast. But we're going to be looking at all these new updates throughout the video here. But without further ado, let's get into this forecast. So as you can tell, we are starting to get some really heavy rain from the outer bands of Eta. It's a pretty large outer band rain field. So the rain field's pretty large. We're getting rain all the way up into areas near Freeport, all the way up to Nassau, areas of the Bahamas. Getting some really light to moderate rain for portions like West Palm Beach, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, um, areas like Melbourne. You guys are kind of quiet right now. We're starting to get some light rain near Jupiter. I mean, this rain's going to start really pushing more to the north there. Starting seeing some rain showers just north of Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg. We're going to get some light, moderate rain throughout portions of Florida, but it will get a lot heavier by the time we get to tonight. Tonight's really going to start the worst of the rain as it's moving very fast. Ada's moving at 14 miles an hour and expected to speed up even more between Cuba and Florida. So this is going to be a very fast-moving storm, which will help minimize the flooding. But the thing is, flooding for Florida is still going to be really bad because it's going to make a second landfall near Tampa Bay. So it's going to bring even more rain for areas like Orlando, areas like Gainesville, as well near Jacksonville. It's going to bring in some really heavy rain. There's going to be probably two landfalls for Florida if it hits the Keys, but there's still a chance that it does not hit the Keys, that it goes really all the way to the west, and it's really weird, and then it goes like that. And that's actually what the National Hurricane Center is showing. The National Hurricane Center doesn't show a Florida landfall until Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg. So they don't show it hitting the Keys or mainland Florida anymore, or southern mainland Florida anymore. So it looks like, based on the National Hurricane Center, there's only going to be one landfall from Florida, but a few models still get it all the way up to Key West. But there's been a big southwestern shift, so impacts for Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Homestead, Florida City are really going to go down wind wise and rain wise. So here's looking at the National Hurricane Center. As you do, they have Eta now at 65 miles an hour. And the low pressure is now just over the waters off the northern Cuba coast there. Like I said, it's moving pretty fast. Movement north at 14 miles an hour. But very soon we'll start to see kind of northwestern turn there, especially if it follows what the National Hurricane Center cone has it at. And I was pretty shocked to see that huge western shift. It looks like it's going to hit Florida, but it just goes due west right after that, and it completely misses the Keys. It's trying to miss southern Florida, but then it's going to go hit Florida near St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay. So either way, Florida's going to get a landfall. The location's really been kind of on and off. But as you see, this convection and structure has really fell apart quite significantly ever since making landfall in Cuba. And it's been a very fast-moving storm. And the fact that it's taken a big hit with losing so much convection like that and moving such a fast rate, it could have shown how much it could have lost even more convection, maybe even speed, if it was moving slower. But it did not lose any it did not lose any strength while moving over Cuba. It's still at 65 miles an hour, but it has lost a ton of convection. It's lost a ton of convection, but it looks like it's trying to find a new low pressure. That's kind of what you see. It's kind of going through a drill minimum. now could be going through its Doral maximum. We kind of see the Doral maximums in the evening hours. Typically, it's not like there's a pattern like that. It's just throughout the year we've seen a lot of Doral maximums in the evening, but it looks like we're going to be seeing a Doral maximum throughout much of the day today. As it did make landfall, it really lost a ton of convection structure. It's going to try to find a new low pressure, and once it finds that new low pressure, it'll start to see a Doral maximum, and that'll probably be at its really maximum expectation by later today, if it even happens. But I did see, you can definitely tell it was going to blow up convection right before going over Cuba right there, and then it's kind of lost quite a bit of it right there. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit of structure there, but I mean it's quite significantly lost a lot of structure. But you kind of see pretty impressive outer banding there, or some nice outflow as well. You can kind of see the outflow right there. You can obviously see some inflow here as well. That's going to help try to get that new convection there. You can kind of see that inflow there. But I mean, that's kind of what we have right now. So you can kind of see that counterclockwise spin right there. It's just this part of the low pressure is really open. I mean, it's like really one-sided. It basically looks subtropical at this point. You can kind of see all the cloud cover is basically like this. I mean, it's really one-sided. That's kind of what we saw Arthur and Bertha. This western side is very open, and Ada's very lucky that there's no dryer here. Actually, there's barely no dryer. It actually has a pretty impressive moisture bubble. Man, boy, if that moisture bubble wasn't there, this storm would be getting ripped apart right now because it's so open, and that has to do with that weakening of structure going over Cuba. So we do expect, or I do expect it, the structure and for it to get a bit more close by the end today, as it's going to be going over waters for the next few days. But you do see the National Hurricane Center does not show a landfall for the Keys at all. Actually, you can kind of zoom in. Actually, it actually hits areas where we have hurricane warnings, but it actually just misses the Key West areas. So the National Hurricane Center is not showing a Florida landfall until Tampa Bay or St. Petersburg. As you see, the National Hurricane Center is doing what I said it would do and hit near Tampa Bay. A lot of people thought it was going to hit the Panhandle, but I've been saying for the past 2 days or so that's going to be making landfall just north of Tampa Bay or in the Tampa Bay area, and it's exactly what the National Hurricane Center is taking it to. But as you do see, hurricane warnings have been issued for all the Keys and areas near the Everglades. Miami's under hurricane watches. Areas near Naples are under hurricane watches. And we do have tropical storm warnings for much of Cuba still. So I do expect those tropical storm warnings to actually get taken away for this general area. And I do expect maybe a chance for these areas where tropical storm watches are to turn into tropical storm warnings, because it's going to be a hurricane. It's going to become a hurricane, and it's going to go just to the north of western Cuba. So there's a chance they can get some tropical storm winds sustained. So I do expect maybe these tropical storm winds warnings to actually switch, and these tropical storm warnings to probably turn and get converted into just turn into nothing really. So I do expect those tropical storm warnings to go away rather soon, especially due to its fast moving speed. And I do maybe expect this part of the northwestern coast of Cuba to get tropical storm warnings instead of tropical storm watches. So I do expect an advancement. Also, I do expect this tropical storm warnings in Cuba to also go away. I don't think they're necessarily needed, except for the Big Island. The Big Island definitely needs tropical storm warnings. So warnings means you're gonna get tropical storm winds sustained. Watch is kind of like tropical storm winds gust. And the only island of the Bahamas that's going to get tropical storm winds sustained is the Big Island. So I think the Big Island should keep its tropical storm warnings. But I just think these islands right here should get their tropical storm warnings taken away. Maybe a watch, but I don't see the point for a warning. Maybe a watch is necessary since it's bringing some very large wind field to tropical storm wind gusts, just not sustained there. But even near St. Petersburg, we have tropical storm watches. So a lot of southern Florida has some type of alert there, but I do see they don't show making it into becoming a hurricane until it actually passes the Keys. So it's probably not going to be a hurricane landfall, but a tropical storm landfall if it even makes landfall. We've seen a lot of models like HWARP, HMON, GFS, CMC that all showed a mainland Florida landfall, all now showing barely making a landfall in the Keys. The only thing that's not showing a landfall is the National Hurricane Center. But obviously, the National Hurricane Center has been very reliable with this storm in general, so I do expect them to continue to be on a streak there and then it's going all the way over here to the west. Basically, it looks like it's going to go straight for Texas or Louisiana at that point, but then it takes another sharp turn to the northeast there. It's going to probably make landfall there and affect areas like Jacksonville and all the way up the coast there near the Carolinas. This is another look at the advisories and alerts. There you got tropical storm warnings out here for the Bahama Islands, portions of central Cuba coast, and for much of Florida there, especially southern Florida, even inland there. So Lake Okeechobee, areas like near Melbourne, Port St. Lucie, as well Miami, Homestead, Naples. You guys are on the tropical warnings, and then you got the hurricane watches as well for Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Homestead, Florida City, Naples. So that's where we got hurricane watches, and then you got hurricane warnings there for the Keys only. Maybe portions of the southern Everglades, but that's really it. And then you got tropical storm watches for western Cuba, including Havana. I do expect Havana to get into a tropical storm warning very soon because of that new threat for maybe even tropical storm winds sustained, since it will become a hurricane in just north of Havana. And then areas near St. Petersburg and the southern Tampa Bay metro area also under this tropical storm watches. I do expect those to become tropical storm warnings very soon. Tropical storm wind probabilities, I just see due to that southern shift, Miami and areas near Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach, you guys are under less than a 50% chance. And that's a very big change here. Areas like Key West, the only part that of Florida that's under a 90 to 100% chance is the Keys. Not even Key Largo's under the 90 to 100% chance. Areas in far southern Everglades are only under a 70% chance. Miami is under a 30 to a is under a 40 to 50% chance. That's a huge change. That's a very big change. But like I just say, by tonight at 8 p.m., that's going to get really the strongest wind and the heaviest rain. By Sunday 8 p.m., it's going to bring some really strong winds now for the Keys, Miami, all the way up to West Palm Beach. You're going to get some really heavy rain at that point. But I mean, a huge change. Like, we're going to start seeing a higher risk for tropical storm winds for Tampa compared to Miami. I mean, that's a huge southern shift since it is making like that. That's kind of what it's showing right there. That's what the National Hurricane Center is showing. So a huge decrease. I mean, West Palm Beach is only at a 20% chance now. I mean, that's an extreme change. Fort Myers had a better chance than Miami for tropical storm winds. I mean, that is just a huge change. Peak storm surge. This is max storm surge expected, only 2 to 4 feet. And I mean, that's kind of what I expected, especially since it's only going to be a borderline hurricane, a tropical storm max. Really, 75 miles an hour is probably going to be the max, and especially for its fast speed it's moving at, and how it took a pretty big beating with structure-wise due to making landfall in Cuba. I think it's probably not going to get past 75 miles an hour, but obviously that could change. But we're going to be seeing storm surge all the way up into the coast of Florida, and that isn't because it's going to be making landfall like that or anything. It's because it's going to be going like this. That's why it has it, because it's going to go like this. So we are going to be seeing some storm surge for Georgia. It's not that you're probably thinking, oh my God, it's going like this. How can we get storm surge all the way over here, especially for a minimal category 1? Well, that's because it's going to be making landfall as well for Tampa and go near Jacksonville. So we will expect storm surge all the way up to Savannah, but very minimal. But 1 to 2 foot storm surge all the way from Golden Beach all the way up the whole east coast of Florida to Altamaha Sound. But we're going to be seeing 2 to 4 foot storm surge all the way from Golden Beach to the Florida Keys to Dry Tortugas and then all the way up to Bonita Beach. So, I mean, it's going to be a pretty widespread impacts there. Like I've been saying, it's going to get just near Jacksonville, just south of Jacksonville, so it is going to bring some storm surge for areas maybe throughout Georgia, all the way up to the northern east coast of Florida. But I mean, like I said, a lot of the models aren't showing a Florida landfall at all. I mean, look at that. Only one model, and that's the HMNI, is showing a landfall for Florida, and that's right on the border. Actually, it doesn't even show a landfall though. So there's not a single model out of all of these models. None of them show a landfall for Florida anymore. And yesterday, if you guys looked at my video, a lot of them were getting it right here, right there, right there. So I mean, that's a huge shift. That's a huge shift. I mean, not a single model here shows a landfall for Florida, when yesterday we had around 8 or 10. So that's a big difference there. And then, of course, you got a lot of the landfall now near St. Petersburg in your Tampa Bay metro area. So again, no landfall for the Panhandle. I hate to say it, even the National Hurricane Center actually was showing a landfall for the Panhandle 2 days ago. Now it doesn't. You guys are basically on the edge of the cone there. So the Panhandle, Tallahassee, you guys aren't going to get anything from this at all except maybe some light rain. Not even tropical storm wind gusts because it could go all like this. So it's not going to be even close to the Panhandle there as well. Even the tropical tidbits models have really shifted to the south as well. Only one, two, three models. Only three models as the tropical tidbits show a landfall for southern Florida. I mean, we had so many more yesterday. At least the Keys, only three for the Keys. As you see, not a single model even close to mainland Florida. Same thing here, not a single model close to mainland Florida. I mean, that's going to really decrease the wind threats and decrease the rain threats for southern Florida. Obviously, the threats for north central Florida, like Melbourne, Gainesville, and Orlando, you guys are going to get some really decent winds, actually, probably more than expected, and even heavier rain. So it looks like there's a huge shift from south and north central Florida. They're going to be switching kind of what the impacts were. I mean, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, you guys were expecting probably some really strong winds and heavy rain, but that's really all shifted now to the Keys. Even the Keys might not even see a landfall, but they still probably get the worst of it. Here's now the new track intensity guidance. The intensity guidance here. We have a good few getting to category 1. We have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have around 8 getting into category 1. We had only 2 yesterday, so yeah, it looks like we have a pretty good idea what the strength will be, but again, it's going to be kind of dural minimum, like not getting past 75 miles an hour. We have 3 obviously getting 1 all the way to category 3. That definitely won't happen. 1 to category 2, that won't happen. And then 1 to a moderate category 1. I mean, that's showing up to around 85 miles an hour. So I don't think 85 miles an hour possible, but it's more likely than a category 3 or category 2, obviously. But again, we are going to see a slight increase, though. So we're not going to see from one model, probably 6Z to getting to category 1 to the 12Z to getting to category 1. Obviously, they're not all going to shift like that. It's going to gradually shift. So you're going to see gradually more models peaking up slightly every single update, and that's exactly what we've been seeing. A lot of them are now getting to now a max tropical storm to a minimal category 1. That's we didn't see that yesterday, so we are starting to see that gradual change there. So here's looking now at the 10-meter wind gust. So this is actually wind gust, guys. This is not sustained at all. This is not sustained. So in the next 12 hours, you can see we are going to have an eye with that system. But again, I just don't think it'll be a hurricane until it actually passes the Keys or it actually becomes a hurricane right over the Keys. So I don't think it's going to be a hurricane until this general point here. And obviously, tropical storms can't have eyes. It's just, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to be an open eye. It could have a slight eye. Just won't guarantee it's going to be open. But this is having 74 miles an hour wind gust, guys. This is max wind gust. Max wind gust, and it's showing 74 miles an hour. And this is one of the few models that actually show a Florida landfall, or mainland Florida landfall still. And this is a 12Z NAM 3 kilometers. And let me just tell you, the NAM 3 kilometer isn't that accurate whatsoever with tropical systems. I just wanted to compare NAM models to global models there. But this is exactly why I wouldn't really trust this necessarily. But yeah, they're getting 85 mile-an-hour wind gusts. I mean, that is probably not going to happen. The NAM has a tendency to overreact storms. I mean, they showed like 920 millibars for Lore, 920 millibars for like Zeta as well. And then it should making landfall. It's going to go kind of just near Naples, and then it's going to make another landfall there for Tampa. Let's actually move towards Tampa. Well, let's actually just go to Orlando because you can see Tampa from there. So let's see that other landfall there. So it's going to gradually come towards Tampa Bay. If this actually could load. Okay, so why isn't it actually popping? Let's actually just zoom out there into the southeastern United States here, because I don't know where that storm went. I actually haven't checked the NAM 3 kilometer ever since I only checked it on this part. Oh yeah, look, the NAM's getting, oh my god, look at the NAM. Oh, that's just sad to be that dumb. They're literally taking it all the way, they're taking it all the way down there. Literally all the way down there and then coming back up. and they have it at 93 mph wind gusts. I mean, I actually kind of regret showing the NAM model here in this video. Look at that. I've never seen a track like that. It goes pretty far inland in Florida and then goes all the way down there. Not a single model gets it all the way down there. I mean, that's pretty bad right there. I feel bad for whoever trusts the NAM like that. But yeah, here's looking at the GFS here. This is actually the new 12Z here, and they actually the GFS was showing a mainland Florida landfall for southern Florida yesterday near Homestead. You guessed it, they don't show that anymore. As you do see, they showed making landfall for the Keys, near Key Largo, right there, and then they showed going all the way down there as well. So I don't think that's gonna be possible. I don't see it all the way down there. The NAM took it all the way down here. The NAM took it all the way down here. I don't see that happening at all. I do see it doing like this, like kind of like maybe like that, and then like that. I don't see it going all the way down southwest. I mean that's pretty just unrealistic. And then the GF just has it just going around a free roller coaster trip. I mean the the GFS doesn't have a landfall after that. Look, so the GFS isn't making landfall on the next 18 hours. That's November 9th, and ever since that they don't have it making landfall all the way up to November 18th. They still don't have a landfall. They just have it just going like this. I mean, they literally have it going like this, like going around like the Gulf. Like, is that a free road trip? Like, I mean, 9 days after it makes landfall, they still don't have it making landfall anywhere. I mean, that is just really unrealistic. I mean, God, I feel bad for the GFS. What is happening? The new CMC 12Z as well coming out. I actually have not checked this at all. Let's see what they show. Yeah, the CMC also shifting a bit more to the southwest. They were showing a mainland southern Florida landfall as well yesterday. Now they get near Key West there. And let's see, they get it all the way down there as well. So yeah, that's exactly why I think the western Cuba area should get tropical storm warnings now, because of that what these models are showing it. They get it literally going all the way down here and then going like that. I mean, that's probably one of the weirdest tracks I've seen. I mean, literally all the way up there. Oh, never mind. They don't show landfall as well. Wow, I don't know what the CMC and GFS are doing. They literally go like, okay, they go like this, and then they go like that, and they go like this, and like, no, I don't want to hit Florida. I feel bad for Florida. And what is this? Holy moly! I mean, our global model is just like, are they just going cuckoo right now? And something to look up. Probably the only model that actually will make sense in the 12Z is probably the H Wharf, and they have it being at 991 millibars in the next 6 hours. There. I mean, wow! What a global model showing. Wow. Bye, guys.